I am Dorimar Schofield. I am the Director of Admissions here at Notre Dame Cristo Rey High School, also an alum of class of 2009. With me here today, just to give you a few introductions, we have Mary Ellie Peralta, who is our admissions assistant and also an alum of class of 2016 at NDCR. We also have on my other side, Miss Shell, who is our Director of Admissions. We have Julia Ogden, who is our Corporate Work Study Coordinator, Sister Mary Alice Gilfeather, who is our President here at Notre Dame. And we also have Mabel Dominguez, who is our Dean of Students and also fellow 2009 alumna of NDCR. So we are here to give you some information on orientation, how to successfully start, including academics and college readiness, how we are going to ensure that you are going to be prepared for college by the time you graduate NDCR and are ready to go off to college. How we're going to do that. We're also going to talk to you about policies like looking at attendance, looking at uniforms, looking at school policies and families working together in partnership to make sure that your experience here at NDCR is going to be successful. We also have corporate work study and all the things that you're going to need to do from now and the start of school to make sure that you're going to get everything signed and completed, including your work permit, so that you can legally work once we start the corporate work study program at NDCR. So all that information is going to be here for you today. This session is being recorded, so you're more than welcome to look back at this session after today in case you want any clarifications. And I'm just going to say it in Spanish before we hand it off to Sister Mary Alice, who's going to start with the college readiness. All right. And then once we start the presentations, we will speak in English, but the presentations themselves will be written in Spanish. Okay. So para dar un poco más información en quién está con nosotros hoy para esta presentación, yo soy Dorimar Schofield, la directora de admisiones y también graduada de Notre Dame del clase 2009. También tenemos Marieli Peralta, que es la asistencia de admisión. Ella también es un graduada de Notre Dame 2016. Tenemos la señora Shao, que es la directora del programa de trabajo corporativo. Con ella, Julia Ogden, que trabaja también como coordinada en el programa de trabajo corporativa, Sister Mary Alice Gilfeather, que es la presidente de la escuela, y también Mabel Domínguez, que es la decana de estudiantes, y también alumna graduada de la Escuela Notre Dame, clase de 2009. So nosotros estamos aquí hoy para darle más información y asegurar su empieza de la escuela, cuando empieza en agosto, en septiembre, con nosotros. Y para dar un poco más de información, le vamos a dar información sobre cómo le vamos a preparar a su hijo o su hija a nuestra escuela para preparar para la universidad y qué nosotros estamos haciendo para prepararlos, también a trabajar con usted los padres y asegurar eso. También vamos a hablar sobre los policies de la escuela, incluyendo la uniforme, la asistencia y más información sobre eso para saber toda esa información, incluyendo también el programa de trabajo corporativo y qué necesitan hacer antes de empezar ese programa. Por ejemplo, hacer la aplicación del permiso de trabajar. Okay, so toda esa información nosotros vamos a hablar sobre ahora. Cuando empezamos las presentaciones, nosotros vamos a hablar en inglés, pero en la presentación lo van a ver en español. Okay. Y otra vez, cualquier tiempo que tiene pregunta, por favor lo puede escribir en el chat y nosotros al final de esta presentación lo vamos a contestar. And I'm going to say this part in English again. If at any point you have any questions, please, I do recommend just writing them in the chat and we will be sure to answer them at the end of the session. And again, we'll be going through these presentations in English and providing them written in Spanish. All right. Okay, I think we're ready. Okay, so we're going to start with our first orientation with Sister Mary Alice Gilfeather, and I'm going to share the screen with you.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. It is truly my pleasure to welcome all of you, particularly the students who are on this Zoom call to Notre Dame Cristo Rey. As you know, Notre Dame Cristo Rey is a school that prepares all of its students for college. And we like to say, we don't only get you to college, but we get you through college. And we will be sharing a little bit at this session as to how we do that. If you could advance the slide. As it says at the top, I am Sister Mary Alice. I am the president of Notre Dame Cristo Rey. Dr. Anthony Zavanine, who is affectionately known as Dr. Z, is our principal. And Miss Mabel Dominguez, one of our proud graduates, is our Dean of Students. At Notre Dame Cristo Rey, we have about 1/3 boys and 2/3 girls. So gentlemen, the odds are definitely in your favor. The faculty ratio is about 1 teacher to every 14 students. And you probably all know by now that we have moved our location from Lawrence to Methuen at the old Presentation of Mary Academy. And but that does not mean that our commitment to the students of Lawrence is any less than it was when we were over in Lawrence. Just a few important things for you. School starts promptly at 7:30 and it ends at 3:30. So it's a very, very long day. And the reason it is so long is because you'll be out working 1 day a week. And we need to make sure we have enough hours to cover the requirements that the state of Massachusetts requires for all the other subject areas that you must take in order to graduate. And our very first day of school, my friends, is August 31st. So we'll be looking forward to seeing all of you bright and shiny in your uniforms on that day. Notre Dame Cristo Rey is officially accredited by the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, which means that on your transcript when you leave, you are coming from a fully accredited high school. Next slide. Thank you. This slide, for me, is very, very important because it talks about our mission and our vision and the values that we profess at Notre Dame Cristo Rey. So one of the things that we're very proud of at graduation is that we have very, very confident graduates. When they come, probably like many of you, you're a little nervous and you're not sure what's going to happen in high school. But I guarantee you, if you work with us and you become part of the community here, by the time you graduate, you will be just as confident as all the other graduates that we have. Most of our students are academically successful because they work really, really hard. And the big piece for us in our vision is that it is our hope and our prayer that all of you become college graduated leaders. So it's not just enough that you're attending Notre Dame Cristo Rey. Our expectation is, like the 3 graduates that you see on the screen here, will become college graduated leaders. We have 6 values that are very, very important to us and help to form how we are with each other in the school. Goodness of God, integrity, family, education for life, respect, and community. And when you come for your summer training, you will learn a lot more about how we live out all of these values at Notre Dame Cristo Rey. Next slide. At Notre Dame Cristo Rey, we carry a full roster of college preparatory courses. So if you look for your freshman year, you will have all of the courses that are listed in that first category there. It's important that you know that while you're here, the only 2 tracks that we have are college prep and honors. So our goal, as we said from the beginning, is that you will become a college graduated leader, which means you will attend a college. Sometimes we like to say to our families, at Notre Dame Cristo Rey, we don't ask, do you want to go to college? What we ask is, which college are you planning on attending? So it's a very, very different philosophy here. We do believe that education is paramount and important for you as you grow to young adulthood. So if you look at this through, I know it only goes up to grade 11, but you will actually have 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 4 years of religious studies, 4 years of science, 3 years of social studies. And then when you get to your senior year, you have the option of taking 3 different electives that revolve around history. And then college and career readiness, you will have that for 4 years, because it's not only important that you get into college, but we also want you career ready for corporate work study and beyond. Okay.
Sister Mary Alice, could I also add something?
You sure can.
Thank you. So just to take note for everyone who's in this call, I also welcome you to have your folders with you. There might be some points in time during this conversation where you will be asked to find a document within your freshman orientation folder. So when you came on Saturday, your child received a folder. And in that folder is everything we're going to talk about today. So just know that as we're talking about this, this is information you also have within those folder, that folder. And I'm just going to say that very quickly in Spanish. El sábado los estudiantes recibieron un folder que tienes documentos que es importante para orientación. Lo que nosotros vamos a hablar también está en esos documentos. So, si usted quiere, lo puede tener con usted, y cuando hablamos sobre esos documentos le dejamos saber, pero es importante para saber si necesita firmar algo o si necesita algo en ese folder. So just to let you know, there might be documents that will it's good to have them with you so you can go through them as we go through them. And this information is located on the right side of your folder, titled titled under as program of studies. Okay, so you can see which classes are listed on there that you would be taking, including the school supplies that you will need for your freshman year, which I recommend going through that list. But on your first day of school, when you are introduced to your teachers and your classes, they're going to tell you more or less if you need something more than what's already on that list. Just know that from there. En español, just to say it in Spanish, el documento que está en el folder para esta información, incluyendo la información de las clases, también tiene información sobre lo que van a necesitar los estudiantes de cuadernos o lápiz o más para cuando empiecen las clases. So puede usar ese documento que empieza con programa de estudios o program of studies, y ahí mismo tiene la información para esta parte de la orientación. Okay, so I hope that gives you a little bit more information. Sorry, sister. Thank you.
No, don't apologize at all. That's great. Thank you. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Right, this one here is a very, very important slide, and it's titled Academic Support. And this is one area that Notre Dame Cristo Rey prides itself on. We do have a very structured tutorial service here that we offer all students at Notre Dame Cristo Rey. We have tutoring sessions that are provided before, after school, and during study halls. The tutoring that we are doing is really to help all of you become really, really proficient in the classes. So we do have volunteer tutors that come into the school. We have peer tutors. We have teachers and staff that work in this tutoring program to help you, all with the goal of helping you to achieve really great grades while you're here at Notre Dame Cristo Rey. We also have small groups that meet upstairs in the auditorium during study periods. For the freshmen in particular, we have midterm and final exam study sessions that are held for 2 afternoons the week before your exams. And we do that to help you feel comfortable about taking the exams, because for many of you, this will be the first time you're taking midterm exams. We also have a program that has been in existence practically from the beginning of school called CASA, which stands for the Center for Academic Support and Assistance. And this is an after-school support program, and it's really designed to help all of you with your homework, or if you're having difficulty getting organized. All students are welcome to participate in CASA, but if you are on academic probation, which I'm sure no one in this freshman class will be, you are required to attend CASA. And I'm going to let Ms. Schofield talk a little bit about the Summer Bridge program, since she really is very active in that.
Yes, so students who are part of the Summer Bridge program were assigned it upon admissions into the school. So you'll know if you're a part of the Summer Bridge program depending on your acceptance letter at NDCR. If at any point you are not sure, please do communicate with us so that we can clarify that with you at some point moving forward, since it is a program that begins before summer training. The Summer Bridge program was originally built to support students in their transition into high school to ensure that they are going to be on track academically through English, math, study habits, and college readiness, ensuring that students are receiving skills that they could use, that they can use once they begin high school, and making sure that they are on track with all the other students to make sure that they are understanding the material and have better opportunities once they start high school. Because we see as students understand the coursework, especially coming into a college preparatory high school where there is more work, there's more homework, different ways in studying, especially since their students are only in school 4 days of the week, that they are going to ensure that they will be successful, making sure, especially with college readiness, that they are going to learn skills like time management, building really good habits that will ensure that they are doing their work, having and building communication skills that are going to ensure that they're communicating with their teachers, that they can build strengths to ensure that they will be on par once they start school. So this program has been really beneficial in the past, since this program has started. Sorry, I can go back. That has shown students do really well once coming into this. And I think especially with the past year being remote, this program could only help even more students being in person. So this program is really beneficial to that, and that's what the program is. And just to say something in Spanish, perdón, en este programa ahí dice que el Summer Bridge es pospondrá, perdón, para el otoño y serás los miércoles. Perdón por eso, eso es incorrecto. Los estudiantes van a estar en persona este verano durante el 23 de julio hasta el 6 de julio hasta el 23 de julio. Es este programa y será en persona. So, perdón por eso, eso fue para el año pasado que no lo sacaron, pero para usted saber si es parte del Summer Bridge Program, si es con nosotros este verano empezando el 6 de julio. So just to let you know, this program runs from July 6th to July 23rd and will be in person and will be half days. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next slide talks about our guidance department. And at Notre Dame Cristo Rey, we do have 3 counselors that work with us. One counselor who is really a freshman guidance counselor who will be working directly with all of you. And it's for a number of reasons. It's to help you to transition from elementary school to high school. It's also to help talk about any particular issues that might be happening in your life. And this person is just really primarily for our freshman class. The other 2 counselors we have, one is a regular guidance counselor, and then the other one deals mostly with college counseling. As we said at the very beginning, college is the expectation of Notre Dame Cristo Rey. So once you get acclimated to college, to high school, then we move you into the preparation early on for college. And it's a wonderful opportunity for you to have visits to colleges. We do have presentations for your families to help understand what you have to do in order to get to college. And then also what is necessary and what are some of the programs that are available for you before you go to college, which also helps a number of our students make decisions regarding which colleges they would like to attend. And since we've had this program in place with the strong guidance department, we have continued to have 100% college acceptance since our very first graduating class. So from my perspective, it's just a great testament, these 3 individuals, to how strong the program is. They're always there for questions from families, from moms and dads, or guidance counselors or other guidance counselors where the students are at, to just help in the transition. So know that this is an important piece for you, and you'll hear much more about this when you actually get to Notre Dame in the fall. Now, the next part is really for the parents. And parents, I am going to put a big plug in for you to become part of this parent advisory committee. It meets every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for you to get to know Notre Dame Cristo Rey, to get to know other parents. The sessions are done pretty much primarily in Spanish. Ms. Quinones runs the program, and it helps us to understand what else we need to do for you. So it really is a place for you to have a voice, and it's a place for you to share ideas as to what you think Notre Dame Cristo Rey can do to make the school better, not only for you, but for your child. So I totally encourage you to join and to become part of our family that way. All right, the next slide introduces Sarah Bashand, who is our alumni counselor. Unlike other schools who usually have high school students for 4 years, we actually have you, I like to say, for 11 years, because we've started already with you now, and then we'll have 4 years with you. And then after you graduate, Miss Bashand will follow you for 6 years after graduation. And so she's the person that not only helps get you to college, but then through college. She's there as a great support. She has become an expert on Facebook and social media. So she is constantly in contact with our alums. She also does personal visits to schools. She helps our graduates remember to file for financial aid on time. And she also is there if they're having difficulties. She's able to find resources to help them. So Miss Sarah Bashand, you will get to know probably more so in your junior and senior year, but she is a great asset to the school. And some of you who may have had brothers and sisters who have gone through Notre Dame Cristo Rey probably already know about what Ms. Bashand does for graduates. And on the next slide, I'm going to ask Ms. Dominguez to talk about PowerSchool, since she is a whiz at PowerSchool and uses it daily.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Mabel Dominguez. I'm the Dean of Students. So PowerSchool for parents, this is going to be a very important tool that you might use daily. This is a good way to track your students' attendance, their grades, if they're tardy, if they're just anything in general. If a student is marked absent, you will get a notification on your phone. It will come up as the same way that you get a text message, it will come up on your phone. You will get that notification. And I think it comes in handy because if parents get that notification, I will get a phone call at school saying, hey, my son was just marked absent. What's going on? Sometimes it turns out they probably went to the bathroom, didn't check in, many things, but it's another way that we keep tabs on your student. For grades, you're able to track their GPA, their grades, their missing assignment. You can see everything on the app, and it's by class. You can see it by semesters, by quarter, and it carries on for the 4 years. If as it gets closer for the beginning of the school year, you will get information about the app. But if you have an iPhone, they have an app for that. And if you have an Android, there's also an app. If you prefer to check PowerSchool on the computer, there's also a link that we send out to parents, and you can use it on the computer as well. If for some magic reason you get locked out, there's a new password, you can give me a call at the school, and I'm more than happy to reset that password for you. I understand sometimes kids may not want their parents to see their grades, but I fully believe that parents should be fully informed about what's going on in their school. So as the dates get closer for the beginning of the school year, I will be your go-to person for PowerSchool and making sure you have that information. Yeah, that's about it.
Great. So in closing, what I would like to say is just stay connected to us. There's lots of ways that you can stay connected and find out what's happening at Notre Dame Cristo Rey. We have our website, we have a Facebook page, a Twitter page, an Instagram, and as Ms. Dominguez just mentioned, PowerSchool. So in closing, welcome. We are thrilled that you have chosen Notre Dame Cristo Rey as your high school. And our promise to you is we will do everything we possibly can to make your years here at Notre Dame Cristo Rey successful.
I will add something though. Students that have Instagram, make sure to follow the NDCR Instagram. It's a great way to see what we're up to at the school. There's pictures of our Spirit Week, of our graduation. If you're just excited to see what the culture is like at the school, the Instagram is a good place to start, just if you're curious. Okay, that's me. So again, I'm the Dean of Students. I'm going to just go over some policies at our school. I am going to be very transparent. I know that some of you guys haven't been in school for about 1.5 years because of pandemic. And we are going to have very clear expectations. So I'm just so happy that we're having this opportunity to speak about those expectations early on. So I'm going to start off with attendance. Attendance is going to be key. Like I mentioned earlier, some students haven't been in person for about 1.5 years. There are a lot of learning gaps that teachers have to fulfill for a lot of students. So it's really important that all students are reporting to school every single day. It's priority. Just so you all know, next year we will be in person. There isn't going to be any remote school. We finished the school year with all students in person. And I'm happy to report we had about 96 to 98% of attendance daily. So students were getting to school, everyone was present, and we saw a dramatic increase with grades. So I strongly believe that students need to be in school, they need to interact with their peers, and they need to learn from their teachers. Whether the absent is excused or not, you are falling behind. So it's very important. You're going to learn very early on that communication is key. We understand that things happen, such as appointments and things like that, but I'm going to strongly encourage that appointments are made outside of school hours, so outside of 3:30. Again, I understand sometimes that's hard because it's physicals, dental appointments. As long as you communicate, we were able to work through it, but I just want to remind parents and students not to make any appointments during school time. It just makes it very complicated, and I don't want students to fall behind. When a student is absent, a parent needs to call the school to call the student out. You either have to speak to myself, to Dr. Z, the principal, or the main office staff to inform us as to why you're absent. A student can't simply just send me an email and say, "Good morning, Ms. Dominguez, I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to school." That's not going to work, because anyone can do that. I need to hear that from a parent. If I don't hear from a parent, we do call home every single day just to check in, see why the student isn't in school, to see if we can help, if anything. We understand sometimes kids get sick, things happen, but we want to make sure that we're being as clear as possible and communicating that with families. Students need to be in class by 7:30 every single day, and that's when the bell rings. You're okay. Tardy. So if a student is tardy 3 times, that is considered 1 absence. So again, not only showing up is important, but showing up on time. We offer breakfast, so it would be great if students can get here early enough to settle down, have their breakfast, and go to class. I'm sure that we all feel frazzled in the morning when we're running late, we don't have anything to eat. It's not the best way to start your day. So students, I really encourage you that this summer, start working on your routines. I know, we want to stay up in the summer and things like that, watch TV, but as school is getting closer, it's really important to have a solid routine that's going to help you a lot, especially if you haven't been in school in the last year. If a student accumulates more than 12 absences for any reason during the year, we will have to determine if credit is going to be given to that student. Oh, something else that I want to mention that's really important is if the class starts at 7:30, and usually that class will end around 8:32, if the student shows up after 7:50, they're going to be considered absent for that class, because it doesn't matter if they just came in for the last 10 minutes, they weren't present for that entire time period. So it's really important for students to be on time as well. Also, we do not approve about vacations during the school year. We like to be very clear and transparent about this. Students have vacations during Christmas, they have their April break, they have their February break, and they have their summer vacation. We do not approve of vacations in the middle of the year. So if I get a phone call saying, "Hey, we're taking a 2-week vacation to the Dominican Republic, to Puerto Rico," that is not going to be approved. Again, we can't tell you not to go, but those absences are not going to be excused, and that work will not be able to be made up, and then the grade is going to suffer. So it might not be worth it in the long run. Again, we understand that things happen, emergencies. We can talk about that when that gets here. We are a very flexible school if communication is made, but we do not approve of vacations because because the students work, we have a very limited time slot to make sure that we're getting our curriculum in. And again, I am sorry for repeating this. We are living through a pandemic. It's really important for students to catch up, especially this incoming freshman class. Their 7th grade was virtual. A lot of math skills were learned online and not in person. So we have just so much work to do with our students, and we want to make sure we're taking advantage of every single moment with them. In terms of snow days, you will get you will get a phone call, a text message. We also post on social media. I also send out an email, usually with a funny meme. Students, you will get to know Ms. Dominguez loves to send a good meme. And dismissal. So if a student does have an appointment, the parent will have to come into the office to dismiss them. You will get a form at the beginning of the year with emergency contact. Only the people that are in that form will be able to dismiss the student. So let's say if it's like a cousin or an aunt that's not on the list, you will have to call the school ahead of time. They have to provide us with an ID just so we can release the student. This is all about keeping your child safe. That's our main priority. And lastly, if you need to dismiss a student, you must come into the office to dismiss them. You can't just say, hey, call me and say, can you dismiss so-and-so? You need to come in. I need to see your face. I need to make sure that's you to dismiss the student. Again, it's about safety. Good to go. Dress code. Next year, so again, this year we were very understanding of all the different situations that families were going through. A lot of our freshman families weren't able to get uniform on time and different reasons. That's not going to fly next year. You guys have enough notice to get your uniform, you know where to get it. And just to give you an example of visual, you see it here on the screen. So for the young ladies, just a reminder, the earrings need to be smaller than a quarter size. I can't have big hoop earrings. Like I can't put my hand through your earring. That's it. You have to maintain a professional look. You need to have the school shirt with the school logo. It's called an Oxford shirt. You can wear the short sleeve or the long sleeve. You can either wear the sweater, the vest, and we also have a fleece, which tends to be very popular amongst the students. Girls have the option to wear the khaki or the navy skirt or pants. The skirts have not been very popular. I think they were popular when Miss Schofield and I went to school together. We haven't really seen the skirts lately. The ladies tend to wear the pants, which is okay. But if you do wear the skirts, you need to wear the knee-high socks with flats, essentially. For the gentlemen, you need to wear a tie. You also need to wear your shirt, which is the blue or the white. As you can see, he's wearing a vest. You can also wear a sweater or the fleece as well. Khaki pants with the school logo. You need to have a belt on, some dark socks, and some shoes that hold a shine. As you know, the uniform company is JB Pride. In your folder, you have a pink sheet that has the uniform information with the phone number, address, website, and the prices. And I think they were here on Saturday, correct? Doing uniform stuff. So, okay, you're all familiar with them. Please, please, please order the uniform as soon as possible. It's better just to have it early versus waiting for the last minute to scramble. The biggest advice that I can give you is try to do everything on time and early. I don't want a single student to feel stressed. I think in general, it's a big step to go to high school, and feeling stressed about uniform and things like that, it's really unnecessary. So if you're able to, please order that uniform on time, just so you can have a very smooth transition to the beginning of the school year. Electronics. So in terms of cell phones, students are not allowed to use cell phones. They shouldn't be seen. If a cell phone is seen, the teacher will take away the phone, and the phone end up in my office. The students do get their phones at the end of the day, but if I've taken their phone away 3 times, a parent will have to come in and get the phone. Cell phones are just a big distraction. Students are in school to learn, not to text, not to TikTok, not to Instagram. They can do that out after 3:30. We're here to learn. We're here to catch up. We're here not to waste time. If there is an emergency, parents, please call the main office. There's always someone there, and we will communicate any emergency if a student needs to be dismissed. Parents simply shouldn't be calling students in the middle of class. Like, students shouldn't say, hey, let me pick up this call real quick. It's my mom. You need to call the main office for that, just so there isn't any confusion. And laptops are provided for the students, that they're going to get that at the beginning of the year, and their return at the end of the year as well. With the laptop, there are service with our IT person. He provides updates for them. He gives them everything that they need to be successful in our school. And that's about it. It's pretty straightforward with cell phones. Just don't have them out in the hallway. Put them away. Another thing as well is AirPods. If they're in your ear, they'll also be taken away. They need to be put away in a safe spot, and they shouldn't be used in school. Okay, and Ms. Schofield is going to speak a little bit about transportation.
Thank you. So in May, we sent out a survey where families can answer just a few questions about the transportation needs, what you need as a family to support your child to get here every day in school. So that survey was given in May. We got information back that administration is going to use to provide those needs and that support. In previous years, since we started in 2004, we never had transportation. And moving into a new location, however, 1 mile away from our original location, still can be something that is especially important this year to make sure that we're providing transportation support. So we wanted to ensure that, which is why we are starting this process as a new thing to be able to provide and support for our families. So that is something we started in May. We got all of the information back from families and saw where families needed some support and what they need. So we are able to offer transportation opportunities coming in the fall. Now, because of the information we received, we saw that majority of families who really need this support are because they do not have a car. So we want to ensure that those families who do not have a car will have the option first to be able to guarantee that their child can get to school. Other than that, it will be a first come, first serve. Because we are not using an outside private bus or company source, we are going to be using our own school vans to ensure transportation for families and for students. So we want to make sure that because we're using our own vans and our own buses for students to be transported to the school, that means that there's a limitation. However, we did only get about 50 or so surveys back from the entire school, including all of you. So that tells us, even though there is a voice for a need for transportation, not many do in fact need that transportation, unless of course it's a high need, which about 45 or so said yes, it was a high need. Specifically those who did not have a vehicle or had no other means because of work. So that really tells us in administration that we can still provide the support because we have vans and some buses available to be able to provide that, considering it's not so many students. So we still want to ensure that that support is there for families who do not have a vehicle and for those who provide those contracts to us first. Okay. Other than that, because we are providing our own means of transportation as opposed to an outside source, there is a cost to using our transportation ranging from $3,000 to $500, which would be a cost to use transportation, of course, for paying new drivers, for paying for transportation in the morning and in the afternoon, and so forth. So there is a cost to that, which I believe will be a cost that will be total, making sure that it's being paid for the year so that it can be used throughout the year. Okay, and we'll work with you on that. There's going to be contracts that are going to go out towards that more so in the next month or so to ensure we'll be prepared for once the school year starts. Students will be picked up at particular spots rather than being picked up at home. will also be what I recommend, especially kind of thinking about that now, since we're talking about the start of the school year, is that you're considering all of your options and means of transportation. If you're not considering NDCR transportation, looking at carpooling options, which we can provide connections with other students or families in your class, or even doing some research in private transportation, which in the flyer we also included other services and companies for private transportation that some of our students currently use. So we want to make sure to provide you with as many options and as many resources as possible to ensure that you can have your child come into school successfully. So we wanted to ensure that you knew those options. Okay, so all that information is pretty much listed there in Spanish. And then we can kind of go forward, but we will be communicating information with you with those contracts, with any additional information. If you need additional resources, if you need connections with families, we'll make sure to do that for you, okay? Just to say that very quickly in Spanish, nosotros asegurar que tiene esta información sobre la transportación y empiece de empezar a ver qué son sus opciones, si quieren transportación de nosotros, si quieren privado o si quieren comunicarse con otra familia en la clase de su hijo o su hija para asegurar que tienen otras familias que le pueden ayudar o usted ayudar a ellos para asegurar que el estudiante va a estar con nosotros a tiempo en la escuela. A nosotros le ayudamos si quieren hacer conexiones con otras familias en vez de usar los transportación privada o de nosotros. So, esa información nosotros le vamos a hablar con usted sobre los contratos de la transportación que vamos a ofrecer en los meses que vienen. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Minguez.
Problem.
I can talk about this too.
Okay.
Okay, so to talk about tuition, so our director of finance is Lynn Achard, Miss Achard. She's not with us today, unfortunately, but know that she is someone that you can communicate with if you need to in the future. At Notre Dame, we have all of our students. I'm just finding the information for myself in English. Okay. So at Notre Dame, there are tuition options, right? I support in families coming in to ensure that you are settled in with your financial aid and your tuition. Know that this isn't in here, but I will say it in Spanish too. Notre Dame is not a tuition run school. We are a school that is run on the support of students going to work. So because our students are going to work, they're earning the majority of the tuition to come to this school. At Notre Dame, we want to ensure that we're providing support to all of our families and to all of our students based off their financial need. What do they need to come to Notre Dame, right? And that's what we want to be able to provide. And we provide as much support as we can in partnership with parents. So let me just say that really quickly in Spanish. En Notre Dame, nosotros somos una escuela privada, pero no somos una escuela que depende en la matrícula de la familia. Dependemos en la matrícula parte del programa de trabajo cooperativo. El programa de trabajo cooperativo es pagado sobre el estudiante ir a trabajar un día de la semana que paga 60% de la matrícula. So es muy importante para nosotros que trabajamos con las familias, con los padres, asegurar que estamos haciendo lo más posible para dar esa ayuda financiera a nuestras familias y lo que necesitan para asegurar que el estudiante va a estar con nosotros. Right? So I just said that in Spanish. So a few things. Tuition at NDCR is provided through a 10-month basis. So starting from August, when you start school on the 30th, until May. So technically you're in school the last week of August all the way in through June, but we start a little bit in advance, beginning of August 1st or so for tuition until May. So that way you don't have to worry about come June. Okay, there are options to pay tuition. You can pay, definitely communicate with the finance office. You can have the options that we have, which is to pay once a month, to pay quarterly, or to pay all at once. So it's all based on your comfort level and what you are able to do, but there are options if you would prefer those options, and just making sure that you communicate them with the finance office. And tuition being financial aid being a partnership, and that we work with you as best as we can to ensure that your child can be with us and that you have the support that you need with financial aid to ensure your child can be with us. And we want to work with you. It is a partnership that we want to ensure that we're working together. Financial aid, the FACS application that you completed upon coming into Notre Dame with the application to come in for admissions is very important. That financial aid FACS application. It is meant to be completed every 2 years. So right now you already completed it for your freshman year and your sophomore year. So whatever financial support you received your freshman year, you're also going to receive your sophomore year. Then you're going to apply again at the end of your sophomore year for your junior year and your senior year. So it's really important to complete those when they are needed to be completed, and we will communicate with you when that happens, when you need to reapply. For those of you who received financial aid, it is all based off the need of the family. So just note that. And then if you received a scholarship, we have very few scholarships that we are able to provide to students, but we provide through eligibility. If you're eligible for these scholarships, know that if you received a scholarship, that means that you have been invested in. Someone is investing in you and your abilities and what you can bring to Notre Dame Cristo Rey High School, in the belief that you will use all of those opportunities and advantages at Notre Dame Cristo Rey High School to be successful, in addition to those who received financial aid as well. All right. So if you have a scholarship, depending on what that scholarship is, note that if they are a Catholic Schools Foundation scholarship, you will have to apply every year to ensure you will continue to receive that scholarship. For other students who may have an LHEFNI scholarship, you will need to ensure that you keep your GPAs, your grade point averages, above a 3.0 GPA to ensure you will continue to receive that scholarship. And those are really important to note, because we want to make sure that you know that now, and how important it is to receive a scholarship to a private college preparatory high school. And of course, to even just be able to have that support for financial aid, and knowing that us as a school are able to provide as much financial aid as we can. But 100% of our families were able to receive some form of financial aid. So I just hope that you know that as Notre Dame Cristo Rey High School, as a school, we do our very best to provide financial aid support in any way. And that's just a place to start. Okay. So some of it is already listed on there: maintaining a 2.0 GPA. So what's important? Because we are a college preparatory school, we want to ensure that you're going to be prepared for college. When you're a junior or senior, they're going to be looking at your transcripts. Colleges are going to be looking at your transcripts even from freshman year, okay? They're going to be looking at all 4 years, which is why when Sister Mary Alice said, if you have below a 2.0 GPA, you're going to be required to attend CASA every day after school to make sure your GPA is up and that you understand the material. Because at the end of the day, if your goal is to go to college, our goal for you is to go to college, and we need to make sure that that happens. So making sure that you maintain a 2.0 GPA or above is really important for your time here at NDCR. Students, there's a lot of support here, so you're not going to lose any financial aid or scholarship opportunities if like your freshman year, if you're struggling. That is why there is so much support here. Yes, we're a college preparatory school. Yes, we're preparing you for college. It's going to be rigorous work. It's going to be a lot of work, but I assure you that if you are doing it, if you are putting in your part, putting in your effort to show up to school every day, to do your homework and study, if you are doing those things, there is no reason for you to fail here, because there is so much support and so many resources that are here to ensure you're going to be successful. There's no reason for you to fail. All right. So it's important your freshman year, if you get below a 2.0 GPA, we are going to be on your case, and we're going to partner with your parents to make sure that you are going to get your grades up. If that conversation has started and it gets to your sophomore year and still you're not putting in your part, then we need to have discussions on what plans are going to be put in place to make sure that you are. And financial aid does not get taken away if a conversation hasn't already started. All right, so I just want to make sure that you know that. But your success here is important to us, because at the end of the day, once you are with us, you are ours. And we want to make sure that you're going to do well and that you understand material and that support is here for you. So I just want to make sure that you know that. But that is all the information, at least on tuition. For tuition payments and other like plans, we can communicate a plan, which is what you have in your folder, is an agreement form that tells you some information on like when you can pay, how you can pay, where you can pay, with what. So all of that is listed on there, and it is a part of a contract that does need to be signed so that you're aware of your options. And some additional information on finances provided in English and in Spanish. Okay, I hope that that gives you enough information. And of course, we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Before I get into sports, I did receive a very important question. So a parent asked, what's the earliest a student can come to school? So students can get to school around 6:45. We do have a teacher that opens up the library, and if students need to print anything or work on anything, parents are free to drop them off that early. I know some parents work earlier, but just wanted to provide that as an option. So sports, with our new beautiful campus, we now have so many more opportunities in terms of sports. Last year, well, this year that we're wrapping up, unfortunately, even though we had our new beautiful campus, we weren't able to take advantage of that because of COVID. But I'm very hopeful for next year, and I really do think that we're going to be able to provide more of, that high school experience for students. At the moment, the sports that we do offer are boys and girls basketball, baseball, softball, cross country, cheerleading, and my personal favorite, volleyball, which is something new that we've added to the school, and the kids just love it. We have a beautiful net in the gym as well. Across the street from our campus, there are baseball fields that we're able to use for games and such. We're also a member of the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. So if sports is something that's really important to you, going back to the comment that Ms. Schofield made about GPA, you need to have a minimum of a 2.0 to participate in sports. If you don't have that GPA, unfortunately, you won't be able to participate. It's really important that your academics comes first, and then the fun, such as sports, come second, because the goal is to get you to college at the end of the day. Clubs. One of my favorite parts of school. So as dean, I am in charge of student life, basically just making sure that, along with discipline, making sure that everyone is following the expectations, but at the other end of it is making sure that everyone is feeling happy to be in school, feeling that they're feeling joy. I love joy. I love seeing kids smiling. I love seeing students that are just so happy to be in school. And we provide many opportunities for students. As you can see on the screen, there's a couple of them that are listed. We have yearbook, we have anime club. Anime club is very popular, I have to say. It's usually pretty packed in there. We have art club, we have NDCR news. We weren't able to do that this year because of the pandemic, but it's basically we will record weekly episodes of the things that are going on in the school. We have Girl Scouts, which is so much fun. So freshman girls, I'm really pushing for you guys to join us. It is so much fun. We went hiking in the beginning of the year. We did some archery. So if anyone likes the Hunger Games, like Katniss, we did some archery. That was fun. Student government, student ambassadors, all that good stuff. Natural hair club. We have so many clubs. But if you see a club on this list that you're really interested, you can put in a petition and we can start that club. Many of the clubs that are in this list, some students have started them. Like the anime club, that was student led. They wanted to do that. In an anime club, we play video games. Like we also have so much fun. It's a very warm and inviting environment. Okay. So what can you expect from us? So kind of like I mentioned earlier, students, you are going to constantly be held to high standards, high expectations, but know with that, you're going to get an environment that is safe. Your safety is our main priority. We want to keep you safe, but we also want to make sure you are learning. We want to make sure we're providing a rigorous college prep curriculum, filling in some of those learning gaps. I know I can speak firsthand. When I came into Notre Dame, coming from a public school, there was certain things that I felt I wasn't up to speed with the rest of my peers. Notre Dame really helped me fill in some of those learning gaps. We are committed to communicating to you with any issues that come up in school. in terms of Power School, email, auto dial. We also do talking points, which are text messages that are being sent to parents. We're going to provide spiritual growth for your child. We're going to provide an opportunity for personal and professional growth, and you're going to learn about that pretty soon when we speak about the CWSP program. But at the end of the day, just know that your child, they're going to be well taken care of. They're going to be cared for, and it's a nurturing environment. I can say that every single staff member, I mean, it was harder this year with the mask, but for the most part, we know every single student. We know everything about them. We'll remember if you had a baseball game, we will ask you about that baseball game. If your dog just had puppies, we will say, hey, how are those puppies? Like, we know everything. And that's one of the things that I love about our school. Like, you don't fly under the radar. We notice everything, and we're making sure that everyone feels accepted and invited in our school. On the other hand, the things that we expect from students and our families. Please, giving your attendance the main priority. Being here every single day, being here on time. When you show up on time, it shows us that you care. It shows us that you're committed to your education. It shows us that the investment that we're putting in you is gonna pay off. Parents, we we do require for you to attend our celebrations, which are so much fun. We weren't able to have them this year, but I'm looking forward to that next year. Our report cards, even though you do have Power School app, is nice to meet with the teachers in person and meet them and say like, hey, I'm really concerned about my grades, or hey, I'm so excited, they're learning so much. There's nothing better like to that face-to-face contact. Ensuring that your students is taking part of all the opportunities. We have so many opportunities in school. So if you hear of anything, which you will through social media, through parent emails, please speak to them at home and encourage them to do them, such as ACT prep, college visits, tutoring, retreats, National Honor Society. Like, if you know your student is doing a great job, encourage them to apply. That looks great on their resume. And just communicate with us on challenges. Like I said, we love communication. We're not expecting anyone to be perfect, but we are expecting you to communicate with us so we can work with your family. We're more than willing to work through any issue, but if we don't know what's going on, we can't help you. So please communicate with us. It's a safe space. Please talk to us, and we'll be there for whatever you need. And that is it from me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Dominguez. So I'm going to now pass it off to Ms. Deb Schell, who is our Director of Corporate Work Study. So I'm going to share my screen with you all now, and Ms. Schell will begin. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. All right, Michelle, you're all set.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Deb Schell. I'm the Executive Director of Corporate Work Study. And along with Mrs. Julia Ogden, we will be telling you some of the things about Corporate Work Study that you need to know. Okay. Okay, this is a great picture of one of our students at work, one of our graduates, but you get a sense of what it's like to be in the workplace. Thanks, Story. This is the Corporate Work Study team, and we are here to help you succeed. Our door is always open. We'll talk to you about your jobs. We talk to you about any issues you might have. We serve as an employment agency, so every form of communication about the jobs from the parents and the students should come through Corporate Work Study. We have an open door policy, and we welcome you to come and talk to us anytime. Thanks, Story. So why are we here? We're here to help you succeed in the workplace. Thank you. The way the Corporate Work Study model works is that you come as a student to our school, and one day a week you are sent out into the workplace at all kinds of corporate partners who have signed a contract with us and that pay us for your work there. Through your work at your job, you are earning over 56% of your tuition. So our students can be very, very proud of themselves, because not only are they going to school, going to class, but they're going out to work, and they're also earning and making a contribution towards their tuition, which is really awesome. And we're so proud of our kids because they always do such a great job at work. Thank you, Dory. The Corporate Work Study Day is a day of education outside of school, but in the workplace. And it really gives you so much experience. It's very powerful. You get a real life work experience. You learn how to work and interact with an adult in a professional setting. We have jobs in so many types of businesses and careers. We have jobs in hospitals and schools and high tech. So a wide variety of environments. And the job allows you to network. It allows you to form relationships with supervisors and coworkers. It allows you to build a really impressive resume. I tell everyone, you know, I have 2 daughters that could never get the kind of jobs that our students get here. My daughter, who is in college, has a summer job at Dunkin' Donuts. Now, there's nothing wrong with Dunkin' Donuts, but our students here work at companies like MITRE and Raytheon and Lawrence General Hospital. So your opportunities are endless, and you have opportunities that kids going to another school would never have. And it also, through your networking, allows you to get references for your future, for college, for maybe another job. So there are a lot of opportunities through corporate work study. Thank you. We are a school that works. So generally a student works about 5 days a month. So an 8-hour workday, and you're basically earning $8,250 towards your tuition. What we do for freshmen, though, is we delay the way it works, and I think that's coming up next. Yes, the schedule is the next story. Thank you. Okay, each class has a designated workday. And for example, freshmen will work on Fridays this year. Now, generally, each class, Tuesday through Friday, is assigned to a specific class, which leaves Monday as a rotating day. So every 4th or 5th week, a different class will pick up the Monday rotation, which means that occasionally, during the week, a specific class will work twice. Now, because we want our freshmen to get used to the rigorous academic curriculum, we do not put them out in the workplace until around the holidays. We give them a chance to get used to that. And for this year, we are delaying the start for freshmen until the end of first quarter. So we'll bring you in for summer training, which is mandatory. For a week, and then we will continue training for the first quarter before we send you out to work. And once you get used to being out in the workplace for 1 day a week, then we will start sending you out twice. That only happens probably every 4 or 5 weeks. So generally, a student typically works 5 days a month. All right, thank you. So about corporate work study is we are the employer, not the company that you're working for, which means if you have any issues at work or if your parents have any questions or issues, you come to corporate work study. You do not call the company. We are the middleman. So any absences or any other issues you may have, you please come to corporate work study. Don't call the supervisor call us, and then we make the communication with the companies. Thank you. Okay, we're really proud of our students, and our students are the face of NDCR. You saw with Mrs. Dominguez's presentation how great our students look in their uniform, and our uniforms are a way of identifying you and allowing you to be an ambassador of Notre Dame Cristo Rey. I can't tell you how many times I get maybe letters from someone in a nursing home or a letter from a patron of a local bank telling me that they had an interaction with our student and how wonderful our students performed or, you know, treated them. And the way that they know that they're students of ours is the uniform. So you can see from this just how great our students do look on the job. Very professional. Thank you.
Can I add something as well?
Yes, you may.
So for some of you, you can see in these pictures that there are some students wearing navy blue and some that are wearing maroon or burgundy. Just note, if you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, you will have to wear the navy blue, okay? So when you're going to JB Pride and you're getting your uniform, do not order the burgundy or maroon because it is a senior privilege. When you become a senior, you will be given a maroon fleece sweater that you see here, and it's gonna have your name on your arm, and it's given through, I believe, senior rising ceremony. So it's a privilege to wear the maroon, and you will get there once you are a senior. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Michelle. Should I say that in Spanish? I should say it in Spanish, sorry. Rápido, para decirle que pueden ver estudiantes que están en azul, que tienen el suéter en azul y también en el color maroon, rojo. Quiero decir que los estudiantes que están vestidos en el rojo es solamente para los estudiantes que están en el grado 12, que es el año final en la escuela secundaria. Es un algo bueno en celebrar el último año con nosotros, y nosotros les damos eso a los estudiantes cuando están en el último año con nosotros, y también tiene el nombre en el brazo, el nombre de ellos en el brazo. So eso es algo que ellos que celebramos con ellos en el último año, y los otros estudiantes necesitan tener los suéteres en azul. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next. Okay, we have certain expectations of our students, and the main expectation, well, we have like a few main expectations, but that you go to work with a positive attitude. Most of our jobs are entry-level jobs. Not all of them are the most exciting jobs, but what happens is our students go to work and they do their job, and their supervisors, it allows their supervisors to see what our students are capable of. So we might have a student that starts out with shredding and filing, but then they end up, you know, because the supervisor sees how responsible they are, they give them additional responsibilities. So we ask that you go to work with a positive attitude, that you work hard, that you stay disciplined and focused, and that you follow the school policies, corporate work study policies, as well as the rules that belong to your corporate partner. Okay, thank you. Okay, 3 basic rules are to show up in proper uniform, be on time, and work your entire shift, 8 hours. So we'll talk about attendance and punctuality next. Thanks, Dory. So missing work and being late can have serious consequences. This doesn't happen a lot. In fact, I've been in this job probably about 8 years now, but I have had 1 student fired for being excessively absent. And basically, our corporate partners treat our students as adults. So they have the same expectations from our students as they would their regular employee. The other thing about being late is we transport, and we will talk about this later in the presentation, but we have vans that take our students to work. So when you're late, you're not only impacting yourself, but you're impacting the other people that may be riding in that van with you. So please keep that in mind. You know, we ask that our students get here at 7:15 to check in, and I know Mrs. Ogden will be talking about that later. So next, please. Okay, our attendance policies are pretty strict. A full workday comes before everything else. So we do not approve, if a student is on a sports team and there happens to be a basketball game the evening of the workday, we will not approve you leaving early for work, for example. And also, if there's an early dismissal day, it doesn't always apply to your work day, you know. Just like the school, when the school asks that you don't schedule appointments during the school day, we ask that you do not schedule appointments on a work day. Okay, our students become valuable members of the work team, and the companies come to really count on your contribution. Our students make wonderful contributions to their teams, and the workplace really regards our students as members of the teams. But it's really important that you live up to your end of the bargain and, you know, be the student that they can count on. So that is basically where we stand with attendance. Next. We ask you to be on time. I've already explained the impact that being late can cause other students that are on the bus. I've already explained, this has only happened to me once, but we did have a student several years ago fired for too many absences because the company could no longer count on them to do their work. So what happened there is I think we ended up losing that company because it kind of soured the reputation of corporate work study. And because we rely on the income from corporate work study, we just want our students to you know, be on time, look professional, and you know, just be the example that we know you can be, because we really need our jobs. So what happens if there is poor performance, the student, we listen to both sides before making any judgments. We want to hear the student side, and if we hear the supervisor has plenty of opportunity to communicate with us. They can pick up the phone, they can email, they can put a note on the time card. So, you know, if there is an issue between the student and supervisor, we get both sides of the story. Sometimes we request a meeting with the student and the supervisor and corporate work study. Sometimes we will go to the workplace and shadow the student. But we are here to help you succeed. We want it to be a win-win for both the company and the student. So please, you know, never think that an issue is too small. We want to know before it festers into some large situation that we can't resolve, because we will help you and work with the supervisor to resolve the issue. There have been, this doesn't happen a lot. In fact, you know, our school is really noted for stellar student performance, but every once in a while, you know, something happens and a student may be let go from the job. So what happens if a student is let go from a job is we do a retraining program and we work with the student, and then we make another placement for that student. Thank you. I had mentioned the reemployability program. So we have a program, and it's based on the 7 Habits book. And we keep the students for about 7 weeks, and the student works with their counselor. They work with corporate work study, and then they're placed on a new job, in a new job. There is a hefty fee when this happens. And the reason is when a student is out in a workplace right now, they're earning over $194 a day. So when you are out of the workplace for, say, the 7 weeks that this retraining program takes, you're not earning the money that you would be earning if you were out in the workplace earning your tuition. So therefore, we have the fee. We do have a policy where if a student is fired twice, they are asked to leave. I have never had a student fired twice. I hope never that never happens. In fact, we were really proud of ourselves last year that we had 0 students fired, and we are remarkably low in the network. You know, generally it could be like from 1 to 3 students that may get fired, but our goal is 0 fires, and we're here to support you. You know, so that doesn't happen. We do everything we can to try to prevent that from happening. Thank you. The next sheet has to do with fees and fines, and these are in place really to teach responsibility and hold the student accountable. And I have to say that really this is really up to the student, whether or not a student incurs any fines. You know, if you delay a van, there is a fine. If we have to send a car to pick you up because you're sick at work, there is a fine. Or if you're late 3 times to work, there is a fine. But for most of these can be avoided. You know, you can't help it if you're sick. And sometimes things happen that causes you to miss work, but most of these fees are avoidable if you are on time, if you show up in your uniform, if you don't schedule appointments on work days, for example. Most of these fines are avoidable. And we've actually had students that make it through all 4 years, you know, without like missing a day and without incurring a fine. So it can be done, you know. So anyway, we're here to support you. And now I believe Mrs. Ogden is going to take it from here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Ogden, and I work with Mrs. Shell in corporate work study. And my job focuses a lot on logistics. So I help with, arrangements for transportation, getting students to and from work, as well as just, communication. I'm big about communication, just making sure everybody kind of is on the same page. So I'm going to start talking a little bit about, some of these logistics and things that we need to make you aware of. So we transport all of our students to and from work. So that means all parents have to do is, get students here to the school in the morning, and then we'll transport the students to their job site and then pick them up in the afternoon. And then parents are responsible for getting them here at the school. And obviously any transportation you do at the school, for class or just getting the students to school, like if you're taking one of the Notre Dame buses, that would be arranged separately. We plan to transport all of our students, we have companies all over the place. We have kids going up to Manchester, we have kids going down to Burlington, so we cover a lot of ground. So that's why we provide transportation for all of our students. All right. So a typical, typical day to do with transportation. All of our students are responsible for being in the cafeteria at 7:15 in the morning, and we have free breakfast for all of the students. So it's good for kids to get there early. I'm usually there a little before 7 o'clock, so kids can get breakfast, get settled, and the vans leave at about 7:30. So like Mrs. Shell talked about before, we need students to be there on time so it doesn't hold up other students. So if students are going to be absent, we know kids get sick, it happens, or if you're running late, it's really important that parents and students communicate with us. If a student's going to be out sick, we need a parent to call. So just like Ms. Dominguez said, if a student's going to be out, a student just can't send me an email or a text and say, I'm not coming. I need to hear it from a parent. We plan to transport all of our students to and from work, but if a student, wants it, if you want to get them to work in a different way, so you want them to take a, like the city bus, you want them to walk, or if you want to drop them off and pick them up for work, we can make that arrangement, but you just have to talk to us in corporate work study before that can happen. We ask that you just communicate, big about communication. Our van drivers are all quarried, which means we do background checks on all of our van drivers, and we also do driving checks on their driving history. So we want to make sure that all our students are safe. And all of our students, as Mrs. Shelb said before, they need to do a full 8-hour day. So try and make those appointments and other events that are going on in your lives. Try not to have those on work days, because we really want to make sure that kids are doing their 8-hour work day. Okay. So corporate work study is such an important part of Notre Dame that our students receive a grade for CWSP. So on their report cards, right next to English and math and history, they're going to have a grade for corporate work study. So there's lots of different things that appear or go into the grade for corporate work study. So some of them have to do with your performance at work. So we have time cards and reviews that are filled out by supervisors. The kids take computer tests that also get factored in, as well as attendance and following of CWSP policies, as well as attitude and behavior. So your attitude at work, and also your attitude and your behavior to corporate work study staff. So that attitude piece becomes really, really important with everybody that you interact with at the school, at work. It's just a big piece. All right, and our students mostly work in office positions, clerical work. So in our offices, there's lots of different departments that they might work in, but these are some of the common ones, human resources, marketing, IT, accounts payable, finance, legal, and quality control. So a lot of these departments, no matter if you work at a hospital or if you work at a tech company or work at the library or school, a lot of these are going to have these different types of departments. So we'll talk with kids a little bit more about what these exactly are and what you might be doing in those departments. All right, and like I said, we have different types of jobs, different types of companies that we work with, but a lot of it is office tasks. And some of these that are listed up here are pretty common. So if you're like alphabetizing and filing, you might be doing that at, the Lawrence Public Library. We have students that work there, so they're alphabetizing books. Or you might be working at a hospital and organizing patient files. Or you might be at a tech company and you're helping in human resources and organizing employee files. So these same skills are going to be used at different job sites, no matter where you work. So these are some of the common ones up here. All right, these are pictures of some of our students on the first day of work. So on the first day, we know that freshmen are really, really nervous, and that's normal. So what we do is we have either a Notre Dame staff member or a board member, some kind of volunteer, an adult that's going to walk them into work on their first day. And we usually have them just take a picture, so we have some great pictures of them going to work for the first time. And that's just to kind of ease them into the first day, because I think that's totally normal. Every student that you talk to who's a Notre Dame student will talk about how nervous they were on their first day. So that just helps kind of ease them in to the corporate work study program. All right, next slide. So our summer training program is mandatory for all of our students. The dates there are below. So Monday, July 26th through Friday, July 30th. And it's from 7:15 to 12 o'clock. So just half days. And this year we're just doing a week in the summer. So it's basically like half of our training is going to take place in the summer. And then the other half will take place during the first quarter of the school year. So from like September to October. well into November, and then our plan is to have those students go out to work. So it's really important that all of the students come to the training. It's mandatory, like we said, because there's so many things you need to know before going out to work, and we don't feel confident to have students go out until they've had, you know, these different classes to prepare them to go out to work. And it's also, we talk about the uniform a lot. Students should have the uniform for summer training. So that's another reason to get, you know, order the uniform early, so that way you have it in time for the summer training program, which is the last week of July.
And Mrs. Ogden, can I also add something?
Sure.
So even though there is summer training for that first week, you're still here for 2 weeks. So in that second week, it's still part of summer training, but more focused on community building, as well as building some other academic strengths as well, since there was a lot of concern since majority of 7th grade and 8th grade were in remote learning. So we just want to make sure to provide some support in that, while also making sure that we're instilling the kind of community that we have here at the school and starting that off. So by the time you even have your first day of your freshman year, you're already going to know your peers. You're already going to have an idea of who your teachers are going to be. You're already going to have an idea of where you're going to go on your first day of school, have a better idea of feeling more confident in your skills for work. So all of these things are going to be really important during these 2 weeks, and it's still a part of summer training, just kind of an extension of that, including community building. So I just wanted to ensure that, and I will share that in Spanish. El programa de trabajo corporativo que tiene el training durante el verano, que empieza el 26 de julio, todavía tienen esas 2 semanas. Parte va a ser de programa de trabajo corporativo, hacer el training para los estudiantes y también para mejorar la comunidad de los estudiantes que van a entrar, así ellos tienen la oportunidad de conocer los otros estudiantes en el mismo grado, también a saber más de conocer los maestros, conocer más escuela y dónde ellos van a estar el primer día. So, se sienten un poco más cómodos y tienen más confianza en empezar la escuela, y van a saber toda esa información durante esas 2 semanas, incluyendo del programa de trabajo cooperativo y donde van probablemente a trabajar y hacer las habilidades que ellos van a necesitar cuando empiecen ese programa de trabajo, y también los valores de la escuela. So I just wanted to share those things. Thank you, Mrs. Ogden.
Mm-hmm. So these are just some more pictures of our students in summer training. You can see there, we have a class just to kind of teach kids how to tie their ties. And go to the next one. This is a list of all the different classes that we have during the summer training. So it covers a lot of the soft skills, so things like communication, how to take initiative, and then a lot of hard skills, so how to file, how to use a copy machine, how to talk on the phone. So both kind of sides, both the soft skills and the hard skills get covered. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about now is about the papers that are in your orientation packet. So the things you got on Saturday, the folder, we're going to talk about all the forms that are on the left side of that folder. So you might want to pull that out right now, take a look at it, and I'm going to walk you through what you need to do with each one of these forms, because I know it can be a little bit confusing. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the work permit. So the work permit is actually just behind the blue forms in your folder. So on the left side, the form's right behind your blue forms, okay? So it says on it, corporate work study, it's Massachusetts work permit instructions and Massachusetts employment permit application, okay? So there's 2 things you wanna look at. Every student that comes to Notre Dame has to have a work permit. Any students between the ages of 14 and 17 have to have a work permit in order to go out to work. So we cannot send the students out on the first day without it. So the due date for that is August 6th, which is actually the end of the summer training. So what you'll see is the instructions kind of walk you through all the steps, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. But you have this both in English and Spanish in case, you forget what I talked about or you need to refer back to it. It's all written down on there. So what you'll do is you'll fill out the work permit application. So the employment permit application for 14 through 17-year-olds, it's at the top. What you'll need to do is put your son or daughter's name on the front of that form. So, we sign this front. You'll see Deb Rochelle's signature on there. We're the ones promising your son or daughter the job through corporate work study. So you put your son or daughter's name on there. Then on the back, you're going to have your son or daughter's doctor sign that your son or daughter is old enough to work. Sorry, not old enough to work, but healthy enough to work. So I would recommend that you go and talk to your student's doctor as soon as possible. Find out when they can sign that work permit application, because sometimes it's been a while and you need to have a physical before they'll sign. In some places you can just drop it off and they'll put a signature on it. So first thing I would recommend you do is, as soon as possible, call your son or daughter's doctor and find out what you need to do in order for them to sign off on your work permit. Okay, you don't have to be 14 to start that, to get the doctor's signature. So try and do that as soon as possible. Then after, you're gonna have the parents and the student sign the back of that form, okay? And once you have everything completed on there, you can either bring it to Methuen High, okay? Or Lawrence High School is still doing all of their paperwork remotely. So you would send it to Lawrence High through email. And I know sometimes that can be a little difficult in terms of like scanning the document, emailing it off. So if you are having trouble with that, you can come to us here at the school. Ms. Schofield will help, or I'm happy to help. Just come to the school and bring your completed work permit application and we can help you send it off. When you either bring it to Methuen or send it to Lawrence High, you need to have a document that has your son or daughter's birth date on it. So make sure you have like a passport or a birth certificate that lists how old your son or daughter is. You need some official document that shows how old they are. So if you are having trouble with this is a really important form. If we don't have this, we can't send your son or daughter out. Come and talk to us and ask questions. And we're happy to help, email, or help you just fill out the form. This has to be done through either Lawrence High School or Methuen High School. So Lawrence High School, because you may live in Lawrence, and Methuen High School because we are located in Methuen. Okay, our school is located in Methuen. All right, so that's the work permit. Okay, the next piece is the W-4 and the I-9. So the W-4 and I-9 has to be done by appointment with Mrs. Shell or Ms. Alvarez. So both of them can set you up with an appointment. So what you'll need to do is to call the school and set up a time. It usually takes about 20 minutes, so not too long. You can see in your folder, this is behind the blue forms. It shows you what you need to bring for the appointment and who you need to call for the appointment. So it lists out both in English and Spanish, the phone number of the school and what you need to bring. So you'll see on top, there's the information about the W-4, bringing your social security number. You need to know your social security number. And there's some documents that you're going to have to bring. So look at the list. There's both in English and Spanish. The easiest thing to bring, if you have a US passport, you can just bring that one document. However, if you don't have a passport, that's okay. You'll just have to have two things. So it might be birth certificate and a report card. And we also have the report cards on record. So we can pull those from your file. That's really easy. So big things are passport, birth certificate, social security card. Okay, so make sure you have those, and you can schedule a time with Mrs. Shell or Miss Alvarez. You call up the school and just ask for them and set up a time for the appointment. The student needs to be there for the appointment, the parent doesn't. So you could drop your son or daughter off for the appointment and then come pick them up. You're welcome to come in with them if you want to. That's fine as well. Okay. But that's also another big piece. W-4 and I-9, they have to fill out before they can go out to work. Okay, these are legal forms and they can't start work without those forms completed. Okay, and the last thing is probably the easiest thing to take care of. It's the contract for corporate work study. So those, if you see on the left side of the folder, those blue forms, so there's 2 copies, one's in English and one's in Spanish. And you only need to do one. So just pick whatever is easiest and fill out, you know, read through it, make sure you understand it, and sign on the back. So both the student and the parent need to sign that contract. And like I said, that's the easiest thing. So all you have to do is just sign it and then send it into the school. Okay. And I know this is, you know, kind of confusing. There's a lot of things with these paperwork forms, but we're here to help you. So if you have questions at any point, you need help with the forms, we're happy to assist you. Okay, this is all so we can get the students here, get them out to work, and get them to college. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Ogden. Thank you, Mr. Minguez. Thank you, Ms. Shell, and thank you to our facilitators. Sorry, my sister Mary Alice, for all of this information. As I am listening to all of this, it is very overwhelming. I understand that, right? There's a lot that needs to be done, and that needs to be done in order for you to successfully start at NDCR come fall. I assure you, we are in this with you. You are not alone. We are here to support you, and we are going to do that and making sure that we're doing that starting now, right? Or even before now, right? We're here with you. Do not be overwhelmed. You have 3 alums on this call who went through all of this and the 4 years at NDCR and went off to college, became college graduated leaders, and are now back within our community to support students and families such as yourselves to go through this very same process. So I hope that you know that and trust in us to support you, and that you are going to have a wonderful experience here at NDCR, because that's what we want for you. And I hope that you all know that. I wish that I could say all of that in Spanish, and maybe I can try, but quiero dejarles saber que nosotros estamos aquí con ustedes. Yo sé que es mucha información y es tener muchas cosas a hacer para este proceso, pero sepas que nosotros estamos con usted y estamos aquí para ayudarlo. Tenemos 3 estudiantes que son graduadas de la escuela, incluyendo yo, que estamos aquí en este proceso con usted. So, por favor, tenga fe en nosotros y nosotros estamos aquí para ayudarlos. Okay, I hope I said all that perfectly fine. So what can we do now? I saw that there were a lot of questions in the chat, and I want to be sure that we have the time to answer them while we have them. It is a lot of information, and there are probably a lot of questions, but we are here to support you. Know that you have everything within that folder, including your uniform price list, your school supplies, what classes you're likely going to be taking, whether CP or honors, what are the policies for uniform attendance, dismissals, who to contact, all the information for your work permit application, your school contract, everything is in there, including a checklist. Okay, this checklist might save your life if you're feeling overwhelmed. There is a checklist. That's the first thing on the right side of your folder. It is going to give you a list of things that you can make sure that you are completing, so that way you're completing everything you need to before starting school. So that checklist is there for you. It's in English and in Spanish. All right, just know that that checklist is there. Hay un documento en su folder que tiene toda esta información y los documentos que necesita completar. Es en inglés, en español. Es un checklist que le va a ayudar a asegurar que tiene todos los documentos que necesita para él cuando empieza la escuela. Okay. Okay. So, Ms. Peralta, will you, I know we have about 15 more minutes left of this session. It is being recorded, but I did see a lot of questions in the chat. Ms. Peralta, can you lead us in those questions?
Of course. So the first question that I see is, how do you determine where the students work?
Ms. Shell or Mrs. Ogden, would you like to share?
Sure. We both can jump in, but we mentioned that the student is here for summer training. So during the training process, there are a lot of different assessments that are done. You know, we assess attention to accuracy, attention to detail. You know, there's a filing assessment. So we take your scores on the assessments. We're also observing you, you know, your behavior in class. We have an interpersonal skill and a networking class, so we can see how you interact with adults. We take that into consideration. We also survey you and ask you what your interests are. And at the same time, what we're doing is we have job descriptions for each company, and we try to match the job description with the student that has the correct skills. So it's not always perfect, but a lot of times, you know, it works. And and that's basically how we place you. Did I leave anything out, Julia?
I was just going to say that, you know, we get a lot of feedback during the summer training. That's a really important time. But what we're looking for is your strengths. We want to see what you're really good at, because we want to try and play those strengths up when you go out to work. Our goal is for you to be successful. You might have to stretch a little bit sometimes when you go out to work. You're learning new things, but we want to make sure that you're the right fit for that position and you're not going to fail. So if you're struggling, you know, we're here to help, but we hope that the placement that you have is going to be a good fit for you, and you're going to do well, because we're going to try and play up those strengths. For example, you know, there's some kids who are really outgoing and really comfortable with people and communicating. They might be really good in a job where you're a receptionist. You know, and some kids are really good with technology, so they might be good in an IT position, working with computers or doing, you know, data entry, things like that. So we want to try and work with what you're really good at and use those skills in your job for corporate work study.
Thank you. Before we move forward, the question was in English, so I'm assuming that because it's in English, I don't need to translate unless, of course, there is a question that's exactly like that in Spanish. I just want to make sure that those opportunities are there if you do have a question, and to say it in Spanish. Para dejarles saber, si la pregunta es en inglés, lo contestamos en inglés, pero si es en español, lo contestamos en español. Solamente quiero asegurar eso para que usted sepa que le estamos dando esas opciones. Next question.
Okay, so I'm just going to be going in order. The next one is about the summer program on July 6th. They wanted to know more about the schedule. I could answer that one. It'll be happening from July 6th to July 23rd. It's half days, so from 8 to 12. And then there will be 3 different classes, so you'll get support on math, English, and then study skills or executive functioning. The next question is, can multiple people work at the same job?
So they can. We get kind of a mix. So it depends on what the company needs. So if a company, you know, for example, like Zwicker and Associates has 16 students, that means they take 4 students every day. So there are 4 students working at that job every day. And they're doing very similar work, but they're kind of working independently. Some companies will take kids on the same day and they'll work in different departments, and some kids will work, you know, with the same department side by side. But there are also students, you know, because the company has maybe a lighter workload where they only have 1 student, you know, 1 student total or 1 student a day. So it depends on what the company wants and how much work they have.
For the W-4 form, do students have to bring the citizenship certificate? And do the copies of the forms that they need to bring need to be the original copies?
And they should be the original copies. So if you have a birth certificate or a social security card, anything like that, you want to bring the original because we need to scan it. So if it's just photocopy, it's not going to scan very well into the computer. If you are a resident alien, or if you've recently become a citizen, you know, so maybe you were born in the Dominican Republic, but you have become a citizen, I would bring those forms with you because there's certain things that Mrs. Schell and Ms. Alvarez have to fill out, certain numbers and things that are on those different forms. So it would be good to bring those if you if you weren't born in the United States and you're a resident alien, or if you became a citizen.
For uniforms, for the boys, is there a specific color tie they need to wear?
So for uniform, no, there isn't a specific color that you have to wear. Just keep the ties appropriate. That's all we ask. But if you want to be cool and have a funky design, I always love that.
And more about uniform, can they be from another place?
Unfortunately, they have to be from JB Pride because they are the only people that is currently servicing our school that provide the uniform with the school logo. So that's why we ask for parents to get them with enough time.
Another question about the summer program, can they join voluntarily?
That's a great question. So we do have we have a roster already for students that are joining the program. If you are interested, I do recommend communicating that to me. So that way I know it is a really beneficial program and our students end up doing really well once they start their freshman year, sometimes just as well as students who didn't officially go through the summer bridge program. So it is a really beneficial program, but it is, I mean, I know our principal wouldn't be opposed to students joining the program out of the benefit of a student joining. So if you are interested in joining the program, just feel free to contact me, and we can see if we can work it out.
Are you able to use your own computer at Notre Dame?
You have to use a computer that's being provided to you because those are the computers that are being connected to our Wi-Fi, connected to the printer. So if you're not connected to the Wi-Fi and the printer, it's going to be really difficult for you to get your work done. So we really want you to use the computers, and they're also equipped with all the programs that you need for your classes as well.
There are some questions about schedules. Will they receive a schedule of the days that you work? You will. As of right now, freshmen will be working on Fridays, but they'll let you know more when you'll actually be starting. When do they get their class schedules?
So class schedules, students usually get them during that first week of student orientation, which is around like August 30th for that first week. So you just kind of have to hold on for a little bit on that, and that will be loaded into your Power School, and you'll also receive a paper schedule as well.
And then for some of the work forms, I believe like the due date is sometime in August. One of the questions is, what if they turn 14 in August?
So if you're not 14 yet and your birthday is coming up, you have to wait to get the work permit and get the W-4 and I-9 completed until you're 14, okay? So we understand, we know what your birth dates are. So if your birthday is a little later in August, or if it's later on, we are aware. So we're kind of keeping that in mind. But I would say that you can still get the work permit application completed by the doctor. That's a good thing to do ahead of time. And we just kind of plan that, you need a little bit of extra time. So if you are not 14 yet, we know, and it's okay, you'll have extra time to complete it, but still try and get the doctor to sign your work permit application, because that often takes a long time. Sometimes, especially if you need a physical, you might have to wait until you've gone to your physical, like schedule it, go to the physical, then get it signed, and that can take some time. So if you can try and get that piece done, you can get that done no matter if you're 13 or not, or 14.
If my school tuition is $1,000, will my job cover part of the payment, or do my parents have to pay the entire tuition?
So the total cost to educate a student at Notre Dame is $14,500. That's the cost to educate a student. But because a student is going to work, and I think I forget who I heard earlier said that students, when they go to work, they're earning $8,000 or so towards that tuition. So whatever is left over is what the family would be responsible for, which is the $3,600. And then that's not including financial aid. So if you got $1,000 for financial aid, right, then that means whatever is left over is what would be your family would be paying for tuition. I hope that answers the question. Was that the question? Right. Yeah. So as whatever you got for financial aid, if you look at your financial aid letter, and I think that there was another question too about scholarships. If you look at your financial aid letter, it breaks all of that down. It tells you what is the cost of tuition, how much financial aid did you get, and then once that financial aid is considered, what is left, monthly and quarterly. That is included on your financial aid letter. If you received a scholarship, it also says that in your financial aid letter when you received it for your acceptance letter. So your acceptance letter with the financial aid letter, it says right on it, if you got a scholarship and the amount of that scholarship is listed on there. So you should see it and see if you got a Catholic Schools Foundation scholarship, or if you got an Al-Hefni scholarship, or if you got a Blewett or a Landrigan or a Fields. You want to make sure to look at that, because depending on which scholarship you received, you're going to have certain requirements, keeping up your GPA, making sure to complete FACS every year. There are certain requirements for those scholarships. Just make sure to look at that document. And if you don't, and you don't know, and you can't find it, let us know.
More questions about uniforms. Where do you have to order the uniform?
So, in your folder, in your handy dandy little blue folder that you got on Saturday, there is a pink paper in there. In there, on that pink paper, it has the name of the company, the address of the company, their phone number, their website, their hours, and the list of prices and the uniforms themselves. You want to take a look at that, see what their hours are. They're going to be open on Saturday from 11 to 3 with dedicated to NDCR families. So you're welcome to go at that time, but you don't only need to go at that time. You can go anytime that company is open and order your uniform. They're also available online. However, I do recommend getting measured. So if you are going to get measured for your uniform, because sometimes the measurements are finicky and you have to measure yourself to really know what your size is. So I do recommend going in person and seeing if you can get sized. But you do have the option to order over the phone. You have the option to order online, or you can go in person, not only this Saturday, but any day that they're open.
And also, when you order your uniform online, does it automatically come with the logo?
As long as you're ordering it from our site. So as long as you're putting in our code and you see our uniform, then they know it's Notre Dame's uniform.
There's a question about the first day of school, when it actually is. So it's actually August 30th, not August 31st. So it'll be August 30th. So all of the forms that you have and like the calendar is updated and has the correct date. Do the school laptops have to be returned at the end of every school year?
So yes, we're currently in that process right now. So your laptop is returned at the end of the school year, just so the IT person is able to run the updates, making sure that it's nice and smooth and working flawlessly for you. As you know, at our school, we offer many opportunities. So if you do end up doing really well your freshman year, you could be doing a summer program. So that way, if you are doing a summer program, you return your laptop and you'll probably get it back within a week once all the updates are made. If you're not doing a summer program, you still get that same laptop at the beginning of the following year. So that laptop kind of follows you. So when you receive that laptop on your first day, take care of it, because that's the laptop that you're going to have for the next 4 years. Granted, if anything doesn't happen to it. So please make sure to really take good care of it. When we went to school, we didn't get any laptops. So we had to scramble and figure out how to print our paper. So the fact that we're able to do a one-to-one laptop program, it's key and it's essential. So please take good care of those computers once you get them.
Especially this past year, being able to have a one-on-one program has been really important too. Just to add to that, when Ms. Dominguez is talking about summer programs, it's really great programs like students going to colleges and doing leadership or scholarship programs. We've had students go to Georgetown University, University of Notre Dame, Regis College. We have students at doing a Marquette leadership program. We have students who've gone to Harvard and done scholarship or college readiness and leadership programs. And those are the kind of programs that Ms. Dominguez is talking about.
And I also just want to add on, if you want to succeed in this school, just set that as a goal, and I guarantee you will, by taking every single opportunity, anything that comes your way. I did see in the chat, I will answer it. Someone did say, when can you start applying to NHS, the National Honor Society? You can start applying once you're a sophomore. So advice for incoming freshmen. you need really good grades. I think minimum is a 3.5 GPA, and you need community service. So if there's any opportunity, like doing a cleanup at Lazarus House, student ambassador, anything in the community, do it. It doesn't matter. You can have a 4.0 GPA, and if the committee is going through your application and you don't have a single hour of community service, you will not be accepted into National Honor Society, because it's about what you can do for others in your community as well. So again, I know this is a lot of information, but as you're doing your planning for the summer, like your routine, your sleep schedule, think about the goals that you want to set for yourself and the type of student that you want to become once you enter our school, because the opportunities are there. All you have to do is take them.
If you got a full scholarship, why does the money that students earn from CWSP still go directly to the school?
So that's a great question. So this is what I was kind of saying earlier, and I know it's 7 o'clock, it's 7:01 right now, and I'm going to be respectful of everyone's time. All the questions that we have in the chat. We're going to make sure to answer them and get those answers back to you. Just to answer this, this last question. When you're thinking about a college preparatory high school, a private college preparatory high school, and as I stated earlier, the cost to come to Notre Dame is $14,500. Here at Notre Dame, we understand that paying $14,500 out of pocket is way too much for our families. Here at Notre Dame, we are trying to service the students and families who want to receive a college preparatory education, but ultimately would not be able to afford that kind of education going elsewhere. So by being able to provide a college preparatory education at a lesser cost than what you would pay at another school is why we have the corporate work study program and why it makes our school so unique. So you are not responsible, right, for paying $14,500 out of your pocket, your family's pocket, in order to come here, because you're going to work. So if I could do the math on a board and show you, you will see that $14,500 you're still paying. It's just you don't see it because you're going to work. So whatever's left over is the $3,600, which is what you're getting as a scholarship. You're not getting $14,500 as a scholarship. You're getting a, let's say, for an example, $3,600. That's what's going towards your family portion. That is what your family is responsible for. You're still responsible for those other 8,000 and something that you're going to pay for corporate work study. So that's where the difference is. The cost to come here isn't $3,600. The cost to come here is $14,500, but we're not making you pay that. So I hope that that makes sense when thinking of the math. Okay, so now that we're officially at 7:03, I want to be respectful of everyone else's time. I'm going to make sure that we save these questions and we see who these questions are coming from. We also have an FAQ, or frequently asked questions, on our website, or for your welcome class or welcome new students website. We're going to continue sending you reminders via text message and email. We're going to try not to bother you this summer, right? We want you to enjoy the summer and the time that you have off before you officially come into the school, but we will be providing you the bi-weekly emails. We're going to be sending you reminders through email. We're going to still communicate with you through text message. If you have questions, you have that talking points. If you want to upload that talking points app, I believe Ms. Dominguez does use that also for upperclassmen as well. So we'll stay in connection with you or in contact with you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We do, for myself and Ms. Peralta and Ms. Ogden and Sister Mary Alice, we all work through the summer. So we're here, and feel free to communicate with us if you need any assistance, and use that checklist. It will be a lifesaver for you to complete everything that needs to be done from now until then. The sooner you do it, the sooner you get out of it. You don't have to worry about it. And then before summer bridge starts on July 6th until the 23rd. And then again, for all those other students that will be with us for summer training, or all students that will be with us before summer training, we're going to send you reminders. Okay. So just know that we're here to support you. We appreciate that you are now officially joined, your official members of NDCR, and joined the family. So we're really excited for you to be with us, and families for us to partner with you. And this partnership is so important. So thank you all so very,
Dory,
very much.
can I just add one more thing to what you said?
Yes.
I think what Dory said about us all being here all summer is really good. If you have any questions, I encourage you to call us and ask us directly rather than asking someone else, because those people may or may not have the right information. And we don't want you to come and say, oh, well, I heard from so-and-so that this was what I was supposed to do, when it may or may not be accurate. There was a question over here. It said, to my understanding, it was that nobody had to wear ties. This year, I can tell you, we were very lenient with the boys for not wearing ties, but our policy is the boys wear ties every single day. So just picking up on what Ms. Schofield said, please call us. We're here all summer, and we're more than willing to answer questions. If you want to come in and you want to have a conversation, we're also available for that. Okay, we would like this transition from elementary school to high school to be as easy as possible for all of you. So no question is a silly question, or no question needs to go unanswered. We are here to answer all those questions for you.
And everyone's probably, thank you, Sister Mary Alice, for sharing that. And we are here for you. And we're really excited to have you young adults with us, and of course you families with us. So just know that we're here. That's it. Thank you so much for joining us in this virtual new student orientation. We hope to be with you in person very, very soon, and just keep an eye out for your emails, newsletters, in the mail flyers and reminders and text messages, and we'll stay in contact with you and our support and resource for you. And other than that, I wish you a very good summer and look forward to seeing you all very soon. All right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Bye.